Imagine, if you will, you are a mailman. This is your job, and it is a simple job. You arrive at a location, and you are given a box. Well, it doesn't need to be a box. It can be a letter, or an envelope, or even a giant crate, but that's not important. You are given a box, and you are given it for one purpose: to deliver it to its designated location. That is your job, and you love your job. So you do your job, so you deliver it to the place that it is supposed to be. It feels great. It feels like you are helping people. You love your job. You have to deliver this box. Sometimes you walk. Sometimes you drive. Sometimes you take the set tracks of the trains. Sometimes your delivery lets you meet strange people.
Hello.
Sometimes you have funny conversations.
I'm glad your dad died.
Sometimes you encounter someone that you form a genuine connection with.
I like your shoes. Mind if I steal them?
But you still have a package to deliver. You should probably deliver that package. So you go on your merry way to your destination. Do you take the quickest path? If so, great. Did you take a detour because the road was blocked? That's fine. Take a different path. Did you go on to a different adventure and do something amazing on the way? As long as you deliver your package on time, everything is great. This is great. Your job is great. You have fun experiences. You meet new people. You do something that gives you a sense of fulfillment in your life. You have a purpose in this world, and you make sure you fulfill your purpose. But that does not matter. Fundamentally speaking, there is only one thing that matters: that you deliver the package to its designated location. It doesn't matter if you are happy, it doesn't matter who you meet, it doesn't even matter what path you take. The one thing that truly matters is that you do the thing you are supposed to do. As long as you do that, everything remains well. But what if it isn't well? One day you go to a location and you are to deliver a package, but you don't have a package. You ask, but you're only told that you deliver it to the location. But how can you deliver a package that you don't have to a location? Deliver it to the location, they respond. Eventually, you just go. Maybe you'll get the package on the way. Yeah, that's supposed to happen. So you walk to the destination. You make sure to take the expected path, because how else are you supposed to get the package if you go the wrong way? Someone will definitely give it to you. Except no one is. Nobody is giving you the thing you are supposed to have so you can do your job. Even that, everybody just seems weird.
The walls are falling.
They aren't acting like they usually do. They're talking about something that you can't quite discern.
28, 4, 70, 70, 70,
But
70.
even so,
70,
nobody
70,
is giving you a
70,
package.
70, 70, 70,
Finally,
70,
you arrive at your
70,
destination.
70,
You're
70,
told
70,
that you did
70,
great.
70,
You
70,
did
70,
what you were
70,
supposed to do.
70,
You
70,
fulfill
70,
your
70,
purpose.
70,
Except
70,
you
70,
didn't.
70, 70,
You were
70,
supposed to
70,
deliver a
70,
package,
70,
and you
70,
didn't.
70,
You
70,
did
70, 70,
nothing.
70, 70,
Everybody is
70,
acting
70,
weird.
70,
Everything is out of sorts.
70,
Something has gone horribly wrong. You know how a video essayist will start a video with something tangentially related to the topic? Well, this serves a purpose. It helps you get a baseline understanding about what the video is about. It also serves the purpose of a thought experiment to grab your attention. I also did that thing with video essays that points out what other video essayists do. It also serves the purpose of showing you how self-aware I am, providing funny haha moment. I'm also saying this while I have this cool-looking essay Sona for you to look at. Art made by me too. This also serves the purpose of giving you a face to associate with my voice. Humans are very social creatures, so we are hardwired to focus on a person when we are having a one-on-one conversation with, even if it's one-sided. Even the aspect ratio serves a purpose. Since I will be talking about Deltarune, a game that uses 4:3 ratio, and I want to replicate it. Even though the thumbnail is 60:9, which, in a couple of days, you may notice that it'll be something different. This serves the purpose of rebooting the YouTube recommendation.
Get on with it! Yes! Get on with it!
Point is... referencing an old movie serves a purpose of cracking a joke. Oh, come on! That was funny, and you know it! Deltarune. I don't need to introduce Deltarune. Everybody knows what Delta's Rune is. It's the hit RPG follow-up to the even bigger hit Undertale, from the hit musician and storyteller game developer Toby's Folk. If you haven't heard of this game, let alone played it, please do. I highly recommend it. It has done irreparable damage to my psyche. But you want to know what's done even more damage? This thing. Oh, look at the little scraggy braggy. Look at the little Lorma Borma. My sweet little Sowlot. This is Block 2. This disgusting yet popular animal has invaded the mind, hearts, and souls of many fans, and honestly, who can blame them? You're telling me if you saw him standing outside of your door, you wouldn't unlock all of the windows in your house? I love Rousey. He is amazing and adorable, and he is definitely hiding a plot twist behind a tablecloth, but that's a story for another time. Alright, time's up. What the fuck is his deal? I swear, every time he does literally anything, it feels like it's written to be completely disarming, yet we know for a fact he knows more than he should. He knows a lot of things that he shouldn't know, can't know, must not know. What is it? Is he evil? Is he Asriel? Is he gay? Is he Gaster? Is he a Lightner? Is he Crayon? Toby, I need to know, does Rousey smoke his lettuce? It's said that the way to truly write a great character is less about how good they are or how funny they are or what they do. The best thing to do is to make them truly rememberable. To make it so that even after you close the book or turn off the TV for the final time and walk away, even after that, you're still thinking about it. A story that is powerful enough to remain in your memory is a story that has meaning to you. Umineko is a game that has a permanent residence in my mind. Pathologic is a game that has a permanent residence in my mind. Deltarune remains there as well. Actually, now thinking about it, Umineko, Pathologic, and Deltarune are all very similar games. I guess I just love games that are heavily story-focused and use the fact that it is a story in a video game as an element in the story, but that's something I don't want to unpack right now. But back to the main topic. Is Rousey a good character? In that, is he rememberable? I mean, just look up his name on YouTube and you'll find 10 billion videos on him alone. Everybody has Rousey brain rot. Everybody knows about Rousey. Rousey is pretty much one of the things that people will remember about Deltarune, which is very funny when you think about it. For a dude who is in-universe, forgotten about all the time, he is the fixation of everybody in the real world. Put that boy in a situation. He reminds me a lot of Sans, to be honest. Everybody knows Sans. Even if you haven't played Undertale, you have seen that Bone Man smile. If there's one character in all of Undertale that you will remember in 50 years, it will be Snaz. So, how is Sans in universe? The man's literally a comic man. Sans is the most dude-ass man in the history of just some guys. He speaks in jokes and makes puns all the time. He barely puts any effort into his work. He literally speaks in Comic Sans. He drinks ketchup. This man is like a staple of internet meme culture. The creme de la creme of this game. The most remembered character in a story. And in game, he's literally just some joke character. Then we remember that he isn't. Sans is a very unique character in the game. In-universe, he's something like a judge, an arbiter of the sins you've committed. He knows everything you did, he can read you like a book, and it's basically all but confirmed that he knows that he is a character in a video game. He knows that nothing he can ever do will matter in the end. He serves no purpose other than to tell you your final score after completing a race. That is the only thing he does. That is the only thing he is supposed to do. And if you made the number go up enough, then he will offer you a challenge that you want. No. The punishment you deserve. That is the purpose he serves. Sometimes I wonder what kind of purpose I would serve if I was a video game character. Normally one would want to be the main character, but I think that one thing that this game has shown is that being the audience surrogate is a fate worse than death. Instead, I would probably be a lore character. Some guy you would talk to about something, then you get a 5-page thesis on, something else you didn't even ask, and it always seems like I'm about to start talking about the thing you want me to talk about before I mention something else, and I begin to ramble endlessly on something that is only tangentially related. Gee, I wonder why I get that feeling. We all want to feel like we serve a purpose, like we do something that matters in some way. Doctors help people get better. Construction workers build houses for people to live in. Police. Comedians provide funny entertainment. Video essayists provide noises for you to put in the background while you eat cereal or draw post office mailmen. Deliver a box to its designated location. In the real world, we matter to others in hundreds of little and nuanced ways. In video games, a person's purpose is a little more centralized. What is your purpose? You rebuild a broken thing I found. What is your purpose? You give me a cake for the rest of your life. What is your purpose? You are a rock for me to push over to that button. What is your purpose?
Pass butter.
All of you guys exist for me to kill so I can make number go up so I can kill Funny Bone Man. Gee, how can Flower be so evil, killing people just to see what happens? I definitely don't feel any cognitive dissonance at all. Who's that? The point being made is that video game characters' existence is shallow, one note, existent to a purpose. However, you do serve a purpose. That is something you are absolutely certain of. At least most of the times. So, in a world where people fit highly specified roles, we have a character who knows and truly understands his place in it, and has given up all hope of ever changing things, but still spitting in the face of nihilism and just embracing the absurd. Sans found his place, and chose to do the bare minimum of what he is supposed to do. And, on the opposite end of that spectrum, we have Ralsei. Ralsei is an anomaly of a character. He is very cute, and he puts others first before him, and he wishes the best for everyone. There's just as much boulders as positivity. He wishes for a peaceful, non-violent solution for the problems presented to him, and he offers a home to the people who fought against him. In every possible definition, he would be considered a saint. But every so often, there's just these moments where you just can't read him. Moments where he says something that just doesn't sit well. Moments that really make you wonder what his whole deal is. Is he genuinely helping out people out of compassion? Or is this all a ruse? Is he the paragon of virtue that he says he is? Or is he purposely manipulating us? Is he good, or is he evil? That's a question many people have asked. What is my answer? Well, let me answer that question with a question. Is Susie evil? I mean, she was completely cruel to Chris at the beginning of the game, and did a bunch of things to earn the hatred of others, and when confronted with the end of the world, she says that might sound like a good time, so is she evil? Of course not! A lot of the things that people say about her are just them misunderstanding her actions, and we don't know what her home life is, but from the bits and pieces that we got, it does not look good, so her harsh attitude may just be a result of a defense mechanism she used to deal with it. Is Noelle evil? She basically commits mass murder throughout Cyber City. That seems evil to me. But she's mainly doing those because we are forcing her and manipulating her into doing them. And she basically is half convinced that all of this is a dream, so she might not fully understand the consequences of her actions. Is Bertley evil? No. He is a kid who has been neglected and ignored for a good portion of his life, and the very second he was given praise and validation, he clinged on it for dear life. His actions are mainly him trying to live out the life that he desperately craves for. I can barely call Queen evil. She's just a machine doing the logical assumptions needed to fulfill what she thinks is best for everyone. If she needs to be a villain to make everybody happy, she would. She's just not realizing that she isn't making things better and almost caused the apocalypse by doing so. King is also merely just reacting to circumstances, believing that the Lightners abandoned him and his people, and just lashing out at us. The point is that Deltarune doesn't have evil characters. It has flawed characters, desperate characters, nihilistic characters, but not evil characters. Ralsei is not evil. Ralsei is just straight up miserable, my dude. He was alone in a ghost town for who knows how long, waiting, practicing, rehearsing for a purpose to be fulfilled. And when he finally does meet new people, one of the first things he does is offer them to hit him if they feel like it. He constantly does what is asked of him, he very often belittles himself, and he actively promotes an ideology that dehumanizes his existence. But if there is one thing we know is keeping him going, if there is one thing holding him together, the one role that he needs to play, the Prince of the Dark in a 7-act play to banish the angels' heaven. He has a job that needs to be done. Can I just ask you all one thing? Can you just boot us Deltarune real quick and hug Ralsei for a goddamn second? Ralsei doesn't need weed, my guy needs therapy. But yeah, time to actually start the analysis portion of this video. Well, I say that because it's kind of hard to do that, since Chapter 2 has been out for like 2 years now. I've replayed it several times since then, and I've watched other YouTubers fine-comb this game. And if it wasn't clear by the start of this video, I've already reached my conclusion of Ralsei. You've already reached your conclusion of Ralsei. You're just here to listen to a different take. So, I guess this isn't much of an analysis and more of a reanalysis, a backwards analysis, telling you all how I reached my conclusion. And this is my conclusion. Ralsei is a video game character. He knows that he is a video game character, and he is complicit in his involvement as a video game character. And once you start to look at Ralsei through that point of view, suddenly a lot of things start to make sense. So, let's take a look from that lens, shall we? And retrace all the steps we've tread 1,000 times before, shall we? Let's start the game, shall we? We start with Chris, our vessel, waking up. We do the standard walk around the house seeing things before we go to school, We arrive at school late. Everybody has partners except for Chris and Susie. Alphys asks us to get chalk in the storage closet. It's dark there. So dark we can't see the floor. And we waken up in a strange place. I think a lot about this room. Card Castle and Cyber City were vibrant with colors, populated with buildings and darkness. This, though? This is just desolate. If this is supposed to be a storage closet, then why is it so empty? I would expect something like chalk darkeners or buildings made of school supplies, or hell, why not a broom? In Cyber City, the whole reason everything had a carnival, roller coaster, street fair aesthetic was because of the poster of the Ferris wheel in the computer lab. Anything left inside would have had some sway in the Dark World's layout. But no, there's nothing here, nor is there any indication of anything ever being here, save for these painted eyes. This place is empty, far emptier of what I would expect a Dark World of a storage closet to be. Something that is supposed to be filled to the brim with almost anything. It's like this place was emptied out, scraped away of any indication of use, and left completely blank, just before this place was turned into a dark world. Well, maybe one object was left inside. Somebody's gotta run the place after all. But that's the thing. It's empty now, but soon it'll be bustling with darkness as the chapters pile on. New buildings will be added, new darkners will live in them, and give their funny contributions. A storage closet is the perfect place for a pure dark fountain. Only games could live in Card Castle, only computer stuff in Cyber City. Everything can be stored in a storage closet. That's what it's there for, and Rouse, the lonely prince, will be a little less lonely. But until then, this is all we got. We need to do our job first before we can get there. We continued through the Dark World and found Susie in a Dust Bowl? Then we run away from Lancer, who wants to beat us with hammers. Then we find this little castle town. And here he is. Patient zero of everyone's brain rot. He asks us to huddle up and listen. He wants to tell us of a prophecy that has been told from generation to generation. He wishes to tell us of the legend of Deltarune. We're not going to be talking about the legend, not yet at least. For now, a wild boy appear. So after me and Susie beat Lancers with hammers, Rouse returns and Susie leaves, leaving us with him to deal with the tutorial, because he's still got a job quota he needs to fulfill. He goes on to tell us the basics of the game: defense, acting, and fighting, although he does specifically warn against it. This is one of the first hurdles of understanding Rouse's character. If Rouse really wants us to go all-in pacifist, why does he tell us how to fight? That doesn't seem to fit his character, but that's the thing. He wants you to recruit everyone, but you do not have to. Deltarune only has one ending. The amount of recruits you get doesn't account for anything. It's just something you can do, or if you're a true sicko, actively not do. He is, however, giving you the option, the illusion of free choice. It won't matter for anything, but it would be so awesome if you recruited everyone, right? That is why he gives you the option to fight. He is legally required to do this. Plus, this whole interaction does give you a funny moment. Shout out to Nighthawk for pointing this out. There's this one instance where he talks about tension points and he refers to it being on the left. Now, this is very funny, because if Rouse is talking to Chris, this is assuming that they can see the bar, but if they could, it would be behind Chris. But no. Rouse isn't talking to Chris. He is talking to us. In several instances, he mainly speaks to us through Chris, but here, this is him directly talking to us. I will talk more about Rouse and the separation between Chris and the player, but for now, just keep that in the back of your mind. Put a pin on it. And a paperweight. Might as well some duct tape too, just to be absolutely sure. We continue on our adventure. We spare and slash or slash our enemies, and make our way through the dark world. But first, oh hey, look, cool tree. These type of trees don't contain an item that will heal you. Whatever you do, don't check the tree and use C to open your menu. Ah, dang it. Gosh fricking dang it. Well, that's it everyone. Theory cancelled. This one line of dialogue disproves everything, right? Other darkners knowing about button to press definitely eliminates my claim, right? Stay tuned for a further analysis. So we fight some bosses, reunite with Sussy, she beat K-Round, pronounced Crowned with hammers, and we meet Scene, pronounced Sham, and have a nice little nihilistic conversation with them. But that's not where I'm focusing my attention. No. My focus is shifted a little bit to the left. Ah, look at these doofuses. They need to do tutorial to make ends meet. The economy's in shambles, I tell ya. But just take a moment to read their tutorials, or particularly just how bad they are. This whole thing really gives me the vibe of ancient Greek doctors trying to understand the body by just making stuff up. I really love this section, because it does something very interesting. Because as pointed out by other Darkners, the fact that they can just clearly state video game mechanics and buttons to press, like, to Darkners, this is just a thing they do. So does that disprove my theory? Do all Darkners know that they're in videos game? Then Rouse is an exception, case closed, Dante eat wait? Except, not necessarily. Here is how I interpret this. I think Darkners know about video game mechanics, but they just don't really understand them. Then Rouse comes in and actually explains what it's for. What do I mean by this? Let's make a hypothetical situation with this puzzle dude. Hey yo, did you know that the ground is hella sexy? That's why things fall to the ground, because they want that hot ground bod. And Rouse will say, well, not really. All things have mass and are attracted to things that have greater mass. The Earth is greatest mass in proximity to us, so it naturally attracts to it. That's what gravity is. You telling me I'd have another reason to lose weight? And all while this is happening, Susie is just on the ceiling wondering what those two are talking about. Darkners know this is a thing. Rouse knows why it's a thing. Lightners have no grasp of understanding. And players do the thing. You might say that's a bit of a stretch, but is it really? There's a good chance there's a microwave in your house. You put food in a metal box, press some buttons that make beep noise, and wait for the ritual to complete and end up with a hot plate. You don't know how microwaves work. I don't know how microwaves work. We know there's some scientific explanation, but for all we know, that's just magic. Rouse is the pervert that knows how microwaves work. Now, it's easy to say that I'm working backwards from a conclusion and trying to justify anything that goes against it, and honestly, yeah, kind of. The problem is that we've already got clear examples of people who fully know about the nature of this world, and they are not doing well. I'm just saying, Rouse is also part of that club. So is Sham to an extent, but that really depends on how much they know. But we continue anyway. And Rouse mentioned this dude named Z. I can't believe Susie doesn't know about Z. It's that famous character Deltarune is known for. Video game is aside, we dub ourselves the Fuck Squad, fight Crowned again, and Susie decides that we aren't kill-pilled harm maxers enough for her and join Lancer. Hopefully we keep the group name of the divorce. After talking to the Starwalker, we find this room. Something interesting happens in this. Let's see if you notice it. I just went straight for the switch. Because I played this game before. I knew where that was. Rouse didn't know, however, and basically just saw Chris walk to a random wall and do something with it. And now, we are free to go to the next room. There's also this moment during the tutorial where I hit the dummy at max, and he compliments us, as if we had experience with this before. Here's what I think. If my assumption is correct, and Ralsei knows that this is a video game, I think his knowledge only extends to one save file. Cause you may have noticed this, but in Chapter 1, you were only limited to one save file. Even though the game supported 3, it wasn't until Chapter 2 that we could actually choose which file to save, or create a new save file for reasons. But for each save file, it's its own world, with some deviations. But for Ralsei, this is the one he is in. So the Ralsei in this save slot is different from the Ralsei from that save slot. They are all still Ralsei. It's just that there are 3 of them now, and honestly, who doesn't want 3 Ralseis? And before you say anything, I am not going into multiple timeline theories territory. After the best moment in the gang gets back together, and is swiftly captured and brought to the dungeon. Susie escaped, and we have this moment of controlling her, or rather, watching her not being controlled by us. Kinda puts emphasis on how Chris is really a puppet to us, them being incapable of doing anything that isn't within the bounds of our interaction. We need to make a choice before Chris can put in their input. But anyway, Susie beats Lancer with hammers, then stops beating Lancer with hammers, and goes back to get us. Ralsei being in the middle of saying something. I wonder what those two were talking about. Anyway, they leave prison. After a long elevator ride with a heartwarming conversation inside, what do? Obviously, we go back inside. There's, something else we need to do. Shovel is an interesting topic. All the illusions of us already playing a game, mentioning the numbers game of our HP, it truly makes us wonder what sort of freedom he thinks he has. The whole reason he was imprisoned is because he wielded unspeakable power, then to be locked away, talking and foreshadowing key players, reusing assets of the game for his own boss fight, or just being a really good boss fight. All this power he has and uses. All 'cause he met a strange someone.
Metamorphosis.
What? where was I? Oh, right, Car Castle. We go up the Car Castle and beat the puzzles of rules, pronounced Ruxels, and because of the Ruxels of 3, we fight Crowned again. This time, Susie puts in her input, as Ralsei's suggestions aren't working. Because Susie actually has a habit of brute-forcing solutions in a way that even Ralsei can't consider, it's interesting. I wonder how this will come up in the future. But now, it's time to defeat the villain of the Thursday. And then we kill him. Actually, no, I'm not just gonna breeze past this like I've done with everything else. There's actually is something I want to talk about, and that has to do with this. If you managed not to be a complete jerkwad while playing the game, you get the ending where Castle Darkners overthrow the king. But that isn't the only ending. If you were a complete jerkwad, you are kindly and civilly told to get the hell out of here. It's not much. You close a dark fountain and finish the chapter, but it's stuff like this that I feel is fundamentally what the game is about. There is only one ending, but that's just the destination. It's the journey that matters. I know we say this jokingly, but really, I mean this with all seriousness. Perhaps the real Deltarune was in fact the friends we made along the way. Of course, you don't need to. You can be a jerk and still be the hero that saves the world. If that's your power fantasy, I guess. Do you face the futility of your actions with kindness or brashness? Ralsei has an answer to that question. Finally, after a long journey, we go to close the dark fountain, but Ralsei wishes to talk to us for just a moment. He stumbles for a bit, but takes his hat off to cover his face. After prodding by Susie, he shows his face to us. I think about this moment every now and then, because at the very start of the game, we see him as a hooded figure, somebody who could be anybody. He drops the hood, but the Prince of the Dark is still cloaked in shadows. Now, he drops a hat and reveals himself to us, once again, an almost familiar face. Slowly, over time, we learn more about him, and he opens himself up to us. But these moments also show one of the core motifs about Ralsei: concealment. He is always hiding something. But we got a dark fountain to close. It was all just play pretend. Toys, cards, pieces and blocks to play around with. Play the hero of the day and escape the harsh reality, but it's all just a dream, is it not? But these toys do have somewhere to go. I'll make sure they'll have a home in my castle town. But that's for tomorrow. We still have today to deal with. Learn all the gossip and news of the townsfolk. Enjoy reality as much as we can. Catch up with family members. Enjoy the little pleasures you can muster. It's been a long day, and when we get home, we shall call it that, a day. And from one dream, we move on to the next. But somebody else has a different idea.